Like, if you touched my stomach, I can be a totally different temperature than Brittany would be. It's so weird.
2 heartbeats, 1 body. That is what the doctor heard, right before the room went completely silent. March 7th, 19, a delivery room in Minnesota. A mother on the operating table, a father waiting outside, and then a baby was born. Except it wasn't 1 baby, it was 2. Same body, 2 heads, 2 fully formed minds, staring back at a medical team that had absolutely no idea what to do next. The doctors pulled the father aside and told him the truth in the plainest words they could find. Your daughters have 1 body and 2 heads. They also told him something else. They wouldn't survive the night. They were wrong. What happened next is one of the most extraordinary stories you will ever hear. Not because of the tragedy, but because there barely was one. Their mother, Patty, was a registered nurse. She had done every ultrasound, every checkup, every appointment, and every single time the machines showed 1 baby. Why? Because during each scan, the 2 heads were perfectly aligned, one directly behind the other. The technology saw 1 profile, 1 skull, 1 heartbeat. Except their father, Mike, wasn't so sure. At one visit, he mentioned something quietly to the medical staff. I think I can hear 2 heartbeats. They brushed him off. Then, the day of the C-section arrived. The room was calm. The procedure began. And then, 30 seconds of complete, stunned silence. The doctor who delivered them, Dr. Joy Westerdahl, later described that moment. The entire team just stopped staring. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. 1 body, 2 heads, 3 arms, 2 legs, and somewhere in the haze of sedation, Patty heard a word being whispered across the room. Siamese. Still half asleep, confused, she asked the only question that made sense to her clouded mind. Did I have cats? She hadn't. She had just given birth to 2 little girls who would rewrite everything the world thought it knew about identity, individuality, and what it means to be alive. The doctors sat down with Mike and Patty and laid out the reality. The twins, they named them Abigail and Brittany, shared a liver, a circulatory system, reproductive organs. Separation surgery was possible. But here was the truth behind that word, possible. If surgeons tried, they would essentially cut the body straight down the middle. And the odds were almost certain that one of the girls, maybe both, would not walk out of that operating room. Mike asked the only question that mattered to him. How could anyone choose between the 2? So they didn't. They brought their daughters home, and they made a decision that would define everything that followed. They would raise them as normal kids. No excuses, no limits. No treating them like a medical condition with a heartbeat. Just 2 daughters. Just Abby and Brittany. Here is where the story gets truly mind-bending. Each twin controls exactly 1/2 of their shared body. Abby controls the right arm and right leg. Brittany controls the left. Their sense of touch follows the same split. Abby feels only the right side. Brittany feels only the left. There is a small zone at the center where both can feel. And that is it, which means that every single step they take requires 2 separate brains to agree. Walking, swimming, driving a car, typing an email. Every movement of every day is an act of coordination, so seamless that most people around them forget it is even happening. They have 4 lungs, 2 slightly fused in the middle, 2 hearts, pumping through 1 shared bloodstream, which means that if Abby takes medicine, Brittany's body gets it too. If Brittany gets sick, Abby's heart still has to keep them both alive. Once, Brittany developed pneumonia. Twice, actually. And Abby, perfectly healthy, not a single symptom, but she still had to lie in bed because Brittany was too weak to get up. During one of those long, frustrating stretches of bed rest, Abby quietly said something she had never said before. She mentioned just once the idea of separation. Brittany started to cry. Abby never brought it up again. They grew up in New Germany, Minnesota. Population 120. In a town that's small, you're not a curiosity. You're just the Hensel girls. They played volleyball, softball, basketball. They swam competitively. They bowled with friends on weekends. And when they turned 16, the state of Minnesota required them each to pass their own driving test, written and practical, separately. Both of them passed. Behind the wheel, the system they'd built their whole lives kicked in perfectly. Abby controlled the pedals and the gear shift. Brittany handled the blinkers and the lights. Both of them steered. Together, their mother had only one question about the whole arrangement. If a cop pulls them over for speeding, whose ticket is it? Because Abby's the one pressing the gas. Nobody has tested that theory yet. In Conjoined, when Abby and Brittany were just 5 years old, Time magazine ran a feature on them. Life magazine put them on the cover. Then, Oprah called. The two little girls from a town of summoned people appeared on national television and charmed an entire country. They talked about their favorite Disney movies. They showed how they clapped, how they argued, how they settled disagreements. Coin flip every time. Over the years, documentaries followed. Then, in funny TLC gave them their own reality series. 8 episodes, graduation. Europe, teaching 5th grade. Critics praised it for what it was. Not a freak show, not a pity story. Just two women building a life. Then the cameras went away. And for almost a decade, so did they? This is the part that broke the internet. On November 7th, 19, quietly, privately, away from every camera, Abby got married. His name is Josh Bowling, Army veteran, hospice nurse, father of a daughter named Isabella. Nobody knew. For nearly 3 years, nobody knew. Then, on March 7th, Teen News obtained public marriage records. Within hours, someone found wedding footage on Facebook, posted by Josh's mother. One clip, the couple's first dance. Abby in a white beaded dress, Josh in a gray suit with an orange tie. The song playing softly in the background. Losing control. Josh sang along. He kissed Abby. The clip went viral before it was deleted. The internet lost its mind, and the questions came flooding in. Questions nobody quite knew how to ask, let alone answer. What about Brittany? What does this mean legally, physically, emotionally? Legally, the answer is clean. Abby and Josh are two individuals in a marriage. Brittany is not party to it. It is not polygamy. In theory, Brittany could marry someone else entirely someday. What that would look like in daily life is a question the law has never had to answer. The twins responded to the storm the only way they knew how. They posted a TikTok, ancient sculptures of conjoined twins. A simple caption. The internet is extra loud today. People like us have always existed. The next day, they posted again with Josh. A voiceover addressed critics directly. If you hate what we do, but you're still watching everything we do, you're still a fan. A few weeks later, they shared unseen wedding photos. Taylor Swift playing underneath. The caption at the end, forever. August Tafantite photographers spotted the twins outside a restaurant in St. Paul. First public appearance since the wedding story broke. Abby's engagement ring on the right hand. Brittany's left hand. Bare. Then came the image that set everything off again. A parking lot in Arden Hills. The twins loading a car seat into a Tesla. A newborn baby. 2 weeks later, photographed again with the same baby. Outside their school. No statement, no confirmation, no confirmation, no comment from Abby, Brittany, or Josh. When a reporter from People magazine reached Josh, he said only this: "People are very interested. We'd like our privacy." And that was it. Here is what gets lost in all the headlines and the viral clips and the comment sections. Abby and Brittany Hensel are two separate people, 2 birth certificates, 2 passports, 2 social security numbers, 2 college degrees, 2 teaching licenses, 2 minds, 2 personalities, 2 women who feel warm and cold differently, who get hungry at different times, who are afraid of different things. One loves roller coasters, the other won't go near a height. They negotiate every single decision. They take turns. They compromise. They have built across 35 years of sharing one body, a partnership so refined that most people watching them walk down a hallway don't even think twice. When they agree on something, they say "I." When they don't, they use their own names. That small shift in language might be the truest thing about them. 2 people moving through one life, finding somehow, against every odd, a rhythm that works. On March 7th, the doctors said they wouldn't survive the night. They had no idea what was coming. If this story moved you, share it, subscribe, and drop in the comments. What question about their life do you still want answered?